Welcome to another episode in Voicing Artists Original Characters. Let's get started. This character that we're going to be working with, their name is Melissa, or Jinx, as some folks refer to them. The artist name is also Jinx, and they gave me a little bit of history for Melissa here, so let me read that out for you. So she's a 21-year-old girl who studies piano and works as a cashier at McDonald's. So she always looks tired. She loves anime and cosplay, although that's a secret, and she loves music and has a nicotine addiction. Quite the description for this character. I love the fact that always looks tired is involved because I think in almost all of these drawings, you can see how absolutely tired she is. And that is such a wonderfully human trait. The two personality traits that this artist gave me for Melissa are tired, of course, important, but the one that I really liked was grumpy. It is not often that you get the description of grumpy. This is a word that means something very specific. It's sort of that feeling of, ugh, I don't mean to be mean, I don't mean to be upset, but everything around me is just irritating me. Every little thing, I don't want to talk to people, I don't want to go through the niceties, I'm just existing in this moment. Everything makes me And that I love. Because it's hard to play with grumpy in a way that makes you still desirable to an audience. So playing with that for us today is going to be fun because we can make her empathetic and relatable while still being a character that you support and you're in their corner. Some character traits that I get from the drawing, I would say moody, maybe a little over-emotional, a little pouty. She's got sort of a pouty expression in the cute chibi drawing with a cigarette. Sarcastic, witty, unknowingly cute. If you've ever seen the stereotype in anime when someone compliments the more grumpy or angsty character and they get the little blush and they're like, "What? Shut up. No, I'm not." That screams from that image with her and the little exclamation point and the closed fists. That's all I can think of from that reference drawing, and I love that. I think she's a little blunt and maybe a bit of a realist or a pessimist. So a realist is someone who sees the world for how it is and never expects more from whatever is going to occur in the universe. A pessimist is somebody who specifically expects worse than what may be likely to occur. They always are looking for the bad things or always expect the bad things to occur. So I think she's got a little bit of in-between mixed in her personality. That I think is going to be important because it will determine the type of things that she would say and the energy that she would carry with her. And I also want to go back to sarcasm a bit and throw that in there. We haven't been able to play with a lot of sarcastic characters, especially because the three main emotions that we work with don't usually use sarcasm. But as we did in another character's video, when we were working with a villain, we had to twist those pure emotions with other adjectives and other feelings in order to properly encompass what we wanted to get out of that emotion for that character. And I think we can tie in sarcasm, tie in a bit of the pouty grumpiness, tie in a bit of the pessimism to these different emotions to make it more unique and more specific to her. So, let's go for a neutral line.
What? Why are you staring at me like that? Are you stupid or something?
I love that. It's such a beautifully witty, a beautifully sarcastic neutral line where it encompasses the feeling of, yeah, she's definitely grumpy, she's definitely tired, she's in that state of mind of like, I could care less what is happening, why is this idiot looking at me? That's 100% the energy that we want from her. So I love that for a neutral line, and I love bringing the witty sarcasm into it. Let's continue that with our emotions. So let's go happy. Now, from a character who's described as consistently grumpy, happy might be a little tricky here. So what would make Melissa happy? I think with this happiness, we should go a little selfish with it. A lot of characters we've done previously have been loving characters. Their happiness stems from supporting or caretaking or being happy because other people are happy. I I think with Melissa, we should go a bit more self-centered on it. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Remember, there is no bad or good. There is none of that. It's simply to make characters more human and more relatable. So let's go a little selfish with her. I think her happiness is gonna come, maybe she's working her job and someone gives her like a huge tip, or she gets a really nice break, or she's finally on vacation from this mundane, tired living lifestyle. And I think that would make her so happy to just finally be able to relax and not care about anything or anyone and just have no cares in the entire world. I think that would be almost like an ecstasy joy for her. So let's try it. Finally. All I'm gonna do for the next 3 days is lay on this couch, eat my Cheetos, and sleep. I love that. Oh my goodness, I love that very much. It's that exhausted energy when you've been so overstimulated and overwhelmed that it's made you to this grumpy, tired point, and all you want to do is take your shoes off and watch TV and play video games. I love that for her. That's a beautiful kind of happiness that we haven't really explored yet in this series, and we haven't been able to play with. So that's kind of fun to be in that relaxed state of overwhelming calmness and joy. I like that for Melissa. Now let's make Melissa angry. This is where I want to go back to that little angry drawing with her clenched fists, and I actually want to take from the idea that it reminds me of where a character gets complimented, and then they go into almost this tsundere mode, which means that they're like, shut up, I hate you, stop talking, oh my god, right? But in reality, they like what has just been said to them. So I think Melissa has a decent amount of that energy in her, so that's what we're gonna go with for her angry vibe. Let's say that it's not necessarily romantic, but someone has complimented her. Maybe it's on her appearance, maybe it's on the good job that she's doing at work. Anything could be the case, but someone has given her some sort of compliment, and she is very upset about it. She's very like, don't compliment me, it's none of your business, like, why are you doing that? Don't show me niceness. And I think that's a good way to do her anger. And it takes the hate out of it, which sometimes happens with adult characters, gives her more of a childlike energy where there's no hate or vengeance. There's just sort of pure upset at what has just occurred and wanting it to stop. And I think that'll be really good for Melissa because it ties in with her grumpiness, but it also makes her more approachable as a viewer and an audience. So let's give it a shot.
Shut up. I wear this every day. I don't look any different, okay? You're just blind and stupid. Stop talking.
Yeah, I like that one. I like going with that one because it brings a bit of the insecurity in there to where she's mad and she's angry that someone would have just complimented her outfit. But she's also like, ha, I don't know how to deal with this, so I'm gonna be mean, and I'm mad about it, ha! Right? It's that energy, and I like that for her anger. I like her anger being a bit of like, ha, hoo, he, ha, because most people don't experience that when they do anger. Most people, when they experience anger, have the frenetic energy that comes with it to where they might be yelling or they might be over emotional, but usually it's very grounded. It's very like you want to punch something. You want to take control. You want to throw all your energy out of the room. Whereas her anger, because it's got sort of this nervousness, sort of this extra context, this extra emotionality to it, and because she's naturally grumpy, so she's always got a little bit of that natural anger, her pure anger becomes almost like this hot potato that she's juggling, this fire that's like boop, 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 boop. Instead of a big raging flame, it's little sparks here and there because it contains this firework-like energy to where she's like, ah, ha, 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 don't do that, I'm mad, stop it, ah, right? Versus someone who's just like, I need to release everything right now because I'm mad. I really like that energy, that more firework and sporadic anger being a part of her anger rather than just pure hatred. I think it fits better for her character. So I like that. I'm glad we went with that. Now let's work on sad. What would make Melissa sad? For this one, I think sad would be experienced probably with this image of her wearing the jacket. She's got a bit of a more tired, more exhausted facial expression on her, which I think can trigger sadness, and I think it would be a good point to start from. In this facial expression, I really love how the eyebrows and the eyes are a little more scrunched up than usual. And she's also got the dark bags under her eyes to express the tiredness. And her hair is very flat and drooping downwards. Her clothes are sort of falling off. She's in some sort of a work-looking attire. Everything about it screams that it wants to fall over and go into that joyous state of having nothing left to do but sleep. Except we're not quite there yet. And I think there's also a tension in this image of not just being tired, not just being grumpy, but being a little sad, being a little upset. And I think her sadness is going to be a little different from everyone else's, the same that anger was and the same that happy was. I think her sadness comes from the idea of hopelessness. And that sounds a little weird, because normally when we think of hopelessness, we think of despair. We think of almost like that scene where the protagonist has no other options and they've lost the battle and they're out of their mind upset, right? That's not what I mean for Melissa. When I say hopelessness, I mean it as more of a human trait. I mean it when you go through your daily routine. You wake up in the morning, you go to work, you come back, you watch a TV show, you eat dinner, you go to sleep. You just follow the same exact routine every day, day in, day out. You make just enough to survive. You might have a hobby or two here or there. We know she likes cosplay and anime, but it's so mundane and it's so consistent. And it's not necessarily a joyous thing because she's grumpy and she's tired all the time. And it begins to feel pointless. It begins to feel like you are living for nothing. You're simply just existing instead of experiencing what the world and what your life has to offer. And that's what I mean when I'm talking about this human form of hopelessness for Melissa. I think we should channel when she's at the point in her life where she's been doing this for so long and nothing feels like it excites her anymore. That's almost what happens a lot if you've ever experienced a intense moment of depression, or if you have depression. It's that feeling of even the things you love don't make you happy anymore. They don't make you excited. You would rather be passed out in bed, do nothing, than go do the thing that you love more than anything else in the world. And that is a really sad feeling. It's a feeling of hopelessness. Everything in the world is pointless. Nothing matters. Nothing you do will matter. One day you'll disappear and life will move on. And I think we should channel that pessimism that she probably has, that realism that she probably has, and throw it into her sadness in order to make this a reality and to really feel how she feels. Do you ever wonder if anything you do matters? I don't think it does. I think if I ceased to exist right now, nothing would change. Ooh, yeah. That one hurts. That one hurts a lot. It's like you've drained every reason for living out of a person. And that's a really hard one to experience. It's so sad and so depressing and oof. But I am glad that we got to live in these new versions of our happy, our angry, and our sad with Melissa. Even our neutral state was a bit different with how sarcastic and grumpy it was for a neutral line. I really liked being able to play with her today because she's such a in touch with humanity character where you can't help but feel like you've been there with her before and you have experienced what she's experiencing and living and breathing. So thank you for this character. Thank you very much to our lovely artist, Jinx, for letting us play with her here today. That is all for today's video. Go ahead down below and subscribe to this channel so you can watch more as they come out. You can also let me know if you have an original character that you would like me to voice using the links in the description down below. And follow our artists in this video. All right, my guys. Thank you for today. Goodbye!